I should have asked on my first conversation.
Gotcha. I like that. What do you think?
I don't really know how I can get help with this, but door knocking,
Okay.
like, makes everything itch, okay? And I have missed 5 listings on my parents' street that I sold on before.
Okay.
I've sent mail, I've done the calling the ones that's not on the DNC, right? I've done the equity analysis for like 3 on the block.
Okay.
I've sent the mailers, I've sent the buyer needs letters,
Okay.
all these things. Yet all of these listings have still popped up after doing that on a monthly basis.
Okay.
So the answer has to have been door knocking.
Okay.
They're gonna see it.
Exactly. It's like, I'm hearing from her,
Mhm.
I get this letter from her, I get this pen or this like magnetic calendar from her, but I've never seen her. And
Okay.
none of the listings are from the same person.
Okay.
They're all from different realtors.
Okay.
Which is like, okay, well, somebody, either you knew that realtor
Okay.
or, it was just like, you just hired the first person that you seen.
Gotcha. That could be, because sometimes it's
Yeah.
just about getting there at the right time. So what was the follow-up?
Calling.
Okay, so that's right here.
If they're not on the DNC, if they're on the DNC, it's just like, oh, let me just send a letter.
Okay.
But I have so much anxiety going knock on somebody's door.
Okay.
I just don't know if that's even if I just want to find something else to do.
Partner. Also have somebody go with you. And that will make a difference. When I door knocked the first time, years ago, Nyla Allen went with me, and she's a pro at it.
Yeah.
If you could get her to go with you, she's really good at it. And I went with her, and I was nervous, and but she does it with confidence. Find somebody to partner with who does it. Patricia does do it.
Yeah.
Find somebody to partner with and do it at a high level, and that will make you more comfortable. Anything in the chat? Okay. Put in the comments in the chat what it is that you think you need in your business to help you cap.
Let me watch it. Okay, I'll watch it.
There's nothing right now for you.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Database. Because that is something that's important at every level, right? Everybody needs to be doing something in their database. There is a class coming up next month with Nikki Bonds about database, and in that class, she's going to teach you guys and all of us how we use our database where we are in our business. How Brenda uses her database is different than somebody who is starting in the business brand new uses their database. So she's gonna bridge all of that, okay? But it's important to make sure that you're using your database. What else?
There's something in the chat this time. I think it's Sean said her clientele. When she was like a ready clientele.
Yeah.
Ready
Like buyer
clientele.
motivation or like the seller, just the motivation of the clients.
Okay, so let's call that buyer urgency. Or seller
I was about to say,
urgency.
even sellers at this point, they
Or
confused.
seller urgency. What else? What else? Let's go.
Getting over yourself is the biggest thing, I think, for
Okay.
let's say the people.
People who have taken my Ignite class know that I am really big on not being a secret agent. Okay, so let's add that.
But sometimes, and it's so funny because every day I go to the gym. No, every day I don't go to the gym. Today that I do go to the gym. Okay, I have a shirt that has a question that says, got real estate moves on the back. It has my Instagram name, my phone number. I'm not gonna stop and talk to you while I'm in the gym. I have no desire to.
Right.
So I'm like, I don't really feel like that's a secret agent, but you're also just like marketing yourself.
It is.
You're not having a conversation with nobody, and nobody probably gonna talk to you and answer your question.
Right, because everybody's
They might
there
still
for
try
a
to take a
reason.
picture, but it's like, okay, you know, like,
Everybody's there for a
it's
reason.
kind of being a secret.
I'm gonna add for systems. I'm gonna also add that listing presentation.
I was thinking that with the buyer urgency, because I'm like, when you kind of do your consultation, you give a sense of
Where you go.
Okay. Okay, by show of hands, raise your hand in the chat as well, if you have a listing presentation already. Okay, what about the chat? Does anybody have a listing? Everybody have a listing? Okay, okay. Does everybody have a buyer consultation? Yeah,
okay, I have my way I do it. It's just not.
it's not formal.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to talk about, from a system standpoint, for those of you who have a buyer consultation, are you doing it virtually?
Yes.
Are you doing it virtually, exclusively virtually? Okay, all right, because I do mine virtually. I don't, ever since COVID, I'll never do another one in person if I can help.
And that's so funny you said that, because today I was thinking about that. I'm like, how do I get ready to transition to like things that are face to face, right? So if clients want to be face to face for consultation, the listing presentations have always been face to face,
Yeah.
right? But buyers consultations have only been on Zoom or for the most part over Zoom, that's supposed to be on the phone.
Right, also.
But how do you transition into? I don't want to go have coffee and pay for coffee every single time I go have a buyer's consultation.
I got you. I think sometimes that's gonna depend on your buyer. I think buyers are more, I think this creates the urgency.
Yeah.
When you do it virtually,
Mhm.
there is more urgency there,
Okay.
okay? Because think about the time that you gotta go to the coffee, go meet them at the coffee spot, set up, whatever, where you spent 45 minutes, and now you know what their motivation is. You've done that in 45 minutes.
Right.
Okay, so that's not only urgency, but for you, it's efficiency.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a time saver.
Yeah.
Okay, so creating that urgency also means you working more efficient. That's systems. Okay. Okay, so the listing presentation, I have two listing presentations. The first listing presentation that I have, Nikki Bonds, when she came all these years ago, and I've just updated it and changed it as I needed to. Okay, you need a listing presentation. I have only presented that listing presentation maybe 4 times. I've been fortunate enough that whenever I got a listing, it's really been by a referral. It's obviously something, full disclosure, that I need to work on and be more aggressive about getting listings in front of strangers.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm real comfortable with my sphere and what they refer to me, and when they refer to me, I just assume that is mine.
It's gonna be
Right,
mine.
and I act that way.
Yeah.
But that's not a system, right? That's not a system, that's an assumption. And so I too need to be better about having that in place. Any comments? Any comments on that?
I feel like that's why I don't really have a buyer consultation, because even coming up with the team and I was a buyer specialist, I feel like, meeting me.
Right. Like,
I get to know you, you get to know me, and we go out here and we look for, and
yeah.
it has literally worked that way, but I have a lot of referrals. And so, like you said, I'm kind of just been running off of that,
Right,
and it's not gonna stay.
right. That the client behaviors change. Look at where we are now. We definitely need more listings in order to be successful. But that's important for us to be building a buyer consultation and a listing consultation. I believe that is in command. There are so many sources out there for us to be doing it for free. And maybe we need to do a workshop as an action item for us to come in and us all get together and work on our listing presentation.
Yeah, that would be a good plan.
Okay, so that might be something for us to do. Listing presentation workshop. Okay. Anything else about the buyer consultation or listing presentation? The listing presentation that I have, I will tell you, if you have a formal presentation with your buyers, please put Cares for Kids in there. It is a winner. It is a winner, especially if you give on your green sheet. I give on my green sheet, and it is a great thing for people to say, if that buyer was on the fence, that was them. Because you're telling them it's their contribution to Cares for Kids, to a charity. And it is a winner. People really like that. Okay. Give people more reasons, especially if they're interviewing other agents, give them more reasons to want to work with you. That's a value. Okay. That's a value. Anything in the chat that I'm missing?
Loretta said that she is primarily working with Zillow leads, and they have recommended suggested processes to follow. And she has something for buyers, but not for sellers.
Okay. Okay. All right. So that's interesting to have. You definitely need a Zillow process. You definitely need a Zillow process. I did do Zillow leads early on. When I did ask her what her process is so far. What is she doing right now? What are you doing right now? Yep. Maybe
she's on lead.
Okay. Can you unmute her to ask her, will she chat? Will she? What's her name?
Loretta.
Loretta?
Didn't speak up.
Mine's probably down, so it's back on.
I think it's the other thing.
Uh-oh. Is that? I was gonna say we had a
Hey, this is Loretta.
Oh, okay. Hey,
I
Loretta.
am here. How is everybody doing on this nice, beautiful, wet day?
So tell us what you started in your process for Zillow.
Well, Zillow has this training that we go through, and first of all, it's a little bit challenging because they ask that we, and I know some of you are going to cringe, that a buyer that wants to look at a home, that we do not try to pre-qualify them, that we do not get a pre-approval letter, and that's based on their research, in that we should meet with them at least one time to build a rapport with them so that they would want to work with us. So after we get over that hurdle, it's showing them homes and then trying to get them pre-qualified. And this is assuming that they are not already qualified. And we do try to ask questions, and our team has questions that we ask just to see where they are and understand their sense of urgency, if they're just window shopping, things like that. But Zillow prefers that we go out and we meet them regardless of whether they've been pre-qualified or not.
I think that's a great point. I personally do that, depending on the client and depending on the initial conversation. I do like to build rapport, and I think it's important. I think you have to do what you feel is best for you. I totally understand why agents choose not to go out with a buyer who is not pre-approved, especially if you're having a conversation with an agent that is with a buyer who is saying that they are actively talking to another agent. Why would you do that? That doesn't make sense. That said, it is something that I do, but I'm intentional about it, right? I'm intentional about the price point that I'm willing to go show somebody without a pre-approval letter. Okay, part of that is because I like to protect my average sales price. Okay, so that's the know your numbers part of this, and you need to know your numbers. If you're at that half capital status, you need to know what your numbers are. And if you've closed transactions, your data is already formed for you. okay? I like to protect my average price point. And if I am trying to qualify somebody, I do like to have that conversation in person, okay? I'm personally not opposed to it. What's your feedback on that? What's the feedback in the chat?
There's none right now.
Okay. What's your feedback on that, Nicole?
I'm with building relationships to, because meeting with them might make all the difference of them actually wanting to move forward with only you as an agent, or even being comfortable with just going ahead and going with your preferred lenders or anything that's being pre-qualified where they might have just not wanted to.
Right.
Or not be completely an A buyer, they might have been a C.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden now they're like, oh my God, you made me feel like
I
A
do
buyer.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's all about you, how you make that client feel, but it also creates urgency. If they're willing to go and take a look at a house, and you are willing to meet with them without that pre-approval letter, they may be more apt to go ahead and truly start the process and see where they are. And then that allows you to add the other things that's probably a part of your systems, which is the follow-up.
Right, right. One other thing I'm interested in, those of you more experienced folks, is that when you do go out and meet them, because I haven't had like a initial consultation with them or anything, I'm meeting them for the first time a lot of times. Do you recommend maybe having some sort of, as part of that consultation, Zillow doesn't encourage this, but maybe a one sheet or something they could take with them that talks about you and your process? Or what are your suggestions on that? So they basically have a keepsake when they leave you.
Personally, what I do is I meet them, greet them with my business card.
Okay.
So they know who I am and that I'm a professional, okay? And then after we have looked through the house and I've asked them what their feedback is, then it's an opportunity, even if it's in the house, it's an opportunity to have that conversation about, how soon are you looking to move?
Okay.
Let them answer, find out what their intentions are. And then I tell my clients, even when I have the initial conversation, I like to do a buyer's consultation just so you know what to expect from start to finish in this market.
Right, right.
And what's a good time for us to set up a Zoom call or whatever. And a lot of times you'll hear the question that comes with it, how much does it cost me, to work with you? There's no upfront cost, but I do require that all of my clients sign a buyer representation agreement. And it is one full sentence. I don't hesitate about it, and that's it. And if somebody is not willing to sign that buyer that buyer representation agreement, and at that point, then I'm probably not going to work with it, because that tells me that they're working with somebody else. Okay.
Yeah, I think when I meet with a Zillow client up front, I have a buyer's package. With like different things that I got from the Breakthrough Broker website.
Yep.
As well as my magnetic calendar with my information on there, and a Cares for Kids postcard. And I just give them that once we get out the car, going to the property, hey, here's just a keepsake for you.
Okay.
That way, even if they never see me again, they kept my package.
Okay.
They got my magnetic calendar. Even if they don't use me, they gonna see me every day. They look at where it's at their calendar.
Okay.
So that's just something.
So buyer's packet. Okay. Tell me what you got in it again.
So it's the cover sheet with my information on their phone number, email, and website. And then there's let me actually just pull it up.
Information sheet.
There's it's like 6-step to a stress-free process, something like that.
So buyer's process. Okay.
And
to her point, a lot of this stuff is free on Breakthrough Broker. You can find some of this stuff on Pinterest.
6 reasons to own a home, so it's like benefits for home ownership.
I love this. Who is this? So I can get in contact with you.
Denise Copeland.
to see your packet.
Denise Copeland. I have a house checklist, so, and I only provide one copy, and I tell them if they want to make more. Sometimes I provide two, depending on how much I feel like can't print it. But it's a house hunting checklist, so when I'm at the property, I do pros, cons, and ratings. But they also have that checklist to go based off of like the most important things. Please
Okay.
don't give me the fluff, okay? Look at your checklist, what do you think about this? Pros, cons, and then let's rate it at the end.
Like that.
And then the roadmap. The roadmap is what I have as the first thing right after my cover sheet, because that tells them every single step of the process, and it's 8 steps, and it's in a full circle.
Okay.
So it's contains, everything has my information on, it's literally on Breakthrough Broker.
Yeah.
All I did was change.
Yours,
like,
put
you
your
know,
logo
my stuff,
number.
Yeah. And then the pre-approved, not pre-approved, but I have a Homes for Heroes flyer with Gianni through Homebridge.
Okay.
So that's a co-branded flyer that I have in there for, just for lender information.
Okay. I like that.
And then Love Pro, I picked up some stuff from them for inspection. So it's really just like a stuff
Mhm.
package, like it's just information more than they would probably have gotten with somebody else. So I'm not just your Zillow realtor with Keller Williams, like I'm your preferred realtor, or I call myself the realtor BFF.
Okay, I like that. I think that's great.
And a business card, of course.
Okay. I like it. So all of that makes you look like the professional, right? If they're having conversations with other people, they've got the information to refer you. They've got your name in multiple places,
Right.
which is a good thing. I like it. I like it.
Yeah, the sellers, the only thing I need to really find more things to put in the seller's package, because the only thing I have in the seller's package is the presentation
Okay.
and the 210 home warranty, so they know it's gonna be covered under warranty while we have it listed,
Okay.
and then for up to 180 days afterwards. And then I have the seller lead sheet in there that I pull out. Once I give it to them, I pull that out, and I use that to take notes when I walk through the house, answer any questions. And that is what lets me know kind of what I need to be getting. If it's a HOA, that's on there. So anything that's blank on that seller lead sheet,
Mm-hmm.
that means I missed it in conversation.
Gotcha.
But I need to, like, it's just so plain. And the buyer's packet has like 10 things in it, and the seller's has 2. And it is card.
Okay.
So,
I like it. Let's talk about what could go into a listing, a pre-listing package.
oh, I have the roadmap too. But that's it. So maybe I don't know how I feel about putting the CMA in there. That's just a lot of paper for no reason, in my opinion.
I like to do the CMA in person.
Right, yeah.
And the reason I like to do that in person is if they get your pre-listing package, you can talk about your marketing stuff, how you're gonna market the property, especially if it's somebody who is a numbers person, they just want to get straight to the point,
Right, yeah.
right? Just tell me how much you gonna sell my house for.
And see, show that net sheet.
Right, I don't need all that, I don't need all that other stuff.
Yeah.
You wanna take that net sheet with you to your listing appointment for sure. When you're having a conversation with your buyer, or with your seller, that's where the DISC profile comes in.
Yeah.
If you've not listened, if you have not taken the DISC profile, be listening to, what type of person is on the other line, whether that person is a chatty person, they're gonna want all of the details
Right.
in the listing presentation. If that person is like straight to the point and very direct and yes, no answers, they just want to know how much you gonna sell my house for, how much we can sell my house
How long it
for,
gonna take?
how long it's gonna
Yeah.
take, and how you come up with that number. Okay, so it just depends on who you're talking to. Some people do not want you to come with all of, you know, your pretty presentation. They don't care. They just want to get the nuts and bolts. Okay, so those things should not be a part of your pre-listing package.
Yeah.
Because if they get that information in advance, they may not call you
Right.
because they may not like your number.
Yeah.
Right? You want to be able to have that conversation face to face, belly to belly. Okay. So what else can we put in there? Obviously, your contact information. Contact and info sheet.
The listing agreement. And maybe you just have it blank, but you can just put something like, you know,
Okay,
it'll give them time to review it.
gotcha.
That way they don't ask for more time after you leave.
Absolutely.
Talk about, I get to review something.
I like it. We talked about the Cares for Kids flyer.
Yeah. So it's property
You're right.
disclosure. Oh, yeah, property disclosure. That takes a lot of time. And maybe you can put the, shoot, the killer offers consent form
Mhm.
in there, because what if, you know, you get somebody who says, well, I just wanna know right now.
Right.
Okay, well, if you fill this part out, I'll get you some offers within the next 72 hours,
Right.
at least 2 offers. you
Okay.
know.
So marketing, contact information, listing agreement, Cares for Kids flyer, seller property disclosure, color offers. When you go to your listing appointment, you want that CMA, you want the net sheet, you want to show them, you know, what houses have actually sold in their neighborhood and how you get to the price.
And then I don't know where I heard this at, but for the CMA, using a range instead of just one number.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I always use, I use a range.
Yeah, I was only using one number before, so the range is pretty good.
Use a range. They may always want to err on the side of that higher range,
Yeah.
right? But if they don't, or if you think that higher range as the expert is too high, right? What you might want to do is say, hey, let's start here. You know, if we're priced too low, the market will tell us that because we'll get multiple offers. So
Right.
there's ways for you to handle that, you know, conversation and or objection. Okay. All right. When y'all, can somebody write these down so I can make some room?
Oh, yeah.
Or take a picture of it. All right. So I have this is our to-do. All right. So door knocking. Lots of people are door knocking now, right? Becoming belly to belly with COVID. People are actually answering the door,
Right.
right? And if not, they'll talk to you through the ring doorbell.
That's true.
They can see.
Yeah.
I did a class, I think after my first family reunion about door knocking. And I hear that as a conversation, so I might dust that off.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll do a class around door knocking. Partnering with door knocking is important. Having something of value is important.
I think that's what I always struggle with. I'm like, what am I gonna tell these folks? It's not like I'm door knocking around an open house.
You can door knock around a sale that's previously happened in the neighborhood, even if it wasn't your sale. Create a postcard that says, that it just sold. Okay, that's an item of value because you're providing them information. They may live at the very front of the neighborhood and the house that sold may be at the very back of the neighborhood, and they may not be aware that that house sold or that it sold for that amount of money. Okay, that's an item of value. Depending on the time of year that you go, there are, you know, there are all kinds of Facebook groups where you can go in and do different kinds of pop-ups for tons of reasons. If it's a neighborhood that you feel like you want to door knock all the time, or then there's a lot of turnover in that particular neighborhood. So you do want to do that information, have that information up front, right? So don't just blindly go, oh, this is a pretty house. These got big houses. This neighborhood has pretty houses, it has big houses, whatever. How much has sold in that neighborhood? So there has to be a strategy behind the door knocking if it's not specifically about an open house. Okay? If you think about the number of homes in a particular neighborhood, it's a percentage of the sales, which would tell you that there are people that are in there that may be considered selling. I can't remember right off the top of my head what that number is, but there's a number that you can use. If you are going at springtime, like now is a good time to go since time just changed. If you're gonna go and door knock, take a 9-volt battery, your business card, a postcard for just sold. This is the time of the year. Sorry. This is the time of the year where you should be changing your smoke alarm, right? So give them something of value. Okay, and it's a conversation starter. Okay, did you know that the houses in your neighborhood are selling about this, right? If you're gonna go to particular houses, right, look up the research on those particular houses. Get a good idea of what they're selling for. Okay, make sure you write down the information of the doors that you knocked on and the people that you talked to. Okay. You can go back and find, after you introduce yourself, make sure you've got something where you've got their name, you got their contact information. Send them a handwritten note. It was nice to meet you at such and such. I knocked on your door or whatever. Send a handwritten note. And then you can add them to your database because now you're building that relationship.
I literally cannot think of the address of this house that I'm.
Yeah.
And it's like driving me crazy because it was in the neighborhood. I know the house next door to it was sold by AutoCAD at 441.
Right.
And I literally gave him the magnetic calendar.
But you didn't get his contact?
No. I'm like, the man came outside, we was chit-chatting. Can't tell you his first name.
Write it down.
441.
Write it down.
Write it down. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I'm like,
You need to
wow.
take a clipboard, get a clipboard and a notepad. You need that. And when you walk away from the door, make notes about that particular person that you can benefit with. And if you decide you're gonna put that person in your database, right, so that you can continuously market to, you have comments and you'll remember that person. Okay, so that's important about door knocking. And again, make sure you're partnering with somebody when you go. You just don't want to be in a neighborhood by yourself as a woman, right? Okay. I had a lady call me yesterday. I have a listing out in the country. I have a listing out in the country, and she said, she called me. It's a mobile home. It's on 8 acres. She was like, is there somebody in the progress, it's vacant? And she said, okay, I just want to know if it was okay for me to go see it. I get shot today was not on my agenda.
Oh, wow.
Because, you in the middle of nowhere, you walk up on the side,
You get shot today. I love that.
Like that was not my agenda. All right, so let's talk about calls, because I think calls and follow-up do go together. Are you making your calls? Who are you calling? Who are you calling?
Okay, so I do my DTV too
Okay.
sometimes.
Okay.
My thing with the sometimes, why I don't do it all the time, I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Because when I do it, it seems to work.
Okay.
That's all I have.
That's all I got.
That's all I have.
Yeah, same. I mean, I don't really like calling anybody. Actually, I prefer to text.
Yeah.
I'm more of a texter.
Me too.
So I will send like a mass text, like on Tuesday. This is perfect. I'll do the DTD2, whatever that group is, on Tuesday, and say something like, happy Gratitude Tuesday. It's your favorite realtor to me. Give me one thing you're grateful for today. If you're available to chat, let me know. We can talk about it.
Okay.
And people will respond and say, oh, I appreciate that. It allowed me to pause in the middle of the day to express gratitude for something.
Okay.
And then some people will say, I'm available, you can call me.
Okay.
So it allows me to have that conversation. So I rather not just randomly call people at the top of the hour, 9 o'clock in the morning, or even 6 o'clock in the evening. So,
Okay.
but I don't really plan who I should be calling that next day.
What can I erase?
Oh, you can erase those, buyer package, prelisting package, yeah, I got it written down.
You got it all the notes?
Mm-hmm.
I want those notes.
No.
Please.
Oh, okay, oh, I thought you said, I don't know what I thought you said, okay, I got you. I don't know what I thought you said.
Like, no.
Oh, no, I thought you said you won't lose no.
It's like I want those.
Oh, okay. No. Sorry.
Like, okay. What did I do?
You know I ain't gonna do you like that.
No.
Okay. No, I thought you said you won't lose no. Okay. No, you ain't gonna lose none, I got it.
All right, so let's keep. make
So
sure
yeah,
we stay on
I
time,
don't
respect your time.
pre-plan, like I think that's a helpful thing, like last night I was thinking about, like, man, who am I gonna call tomorrow when it's time to lead gen? And this morning I said, well, I'm gonna call my Facebook lead. Because they talked about on James Shift this morning, it's like, you know, those are just inquiries, they're not a lead until you had a conversation, an appointment with them, so I was like, damn, like I feel all the conviction
I
this
heard
morning.
that. Let me back check my notes. Somebody, I was having a conversation with somebody, and she said this about a contact. And I was like, that is so true.
Cause I'm thinking, I put them on Smart Plan as soon as they come in through Facebook and
Right.
I'm good to go, I don't like all these people.
Yeah, it's still a lead.
Meanwhile,
Right,
they
they're
still
still
know who I am.
And they're sitting there until we change that.
Right.
Oh my goodness, where did I write it down?
It was this morning.
No, it was, I had a conversation with an agent, just who was talking about a class. And the way that she phrased a contact versus a, lead, I loved. And I can't freaking, I'm supposed to freaking find it. And I looked at it. Oh, is the person in your database a record or a contact?
Oh, that's good.
I love that. Is the person in your database just a record or a contact? So until you talk to that person, they are just a record.
Cause I've got all kind of records in my phone.
Oh,
I mean,
me too. When she said it, I was convicted.
convicted, okay?
I was
Conviction.
convicted. Is the person a record or a contact? So we definitely need more contacts as opposed to records in our database. Okay, so obviously a contact is somebody that you've had a real estate, a two-way real estate conversation with. Or just a two-way conversation with. And then how do you follow up? DD2 is a great system to use to follow up with people. What else? You know, what's another way for you to stay top of mind with people? Newsletters. Okay. Is anybody doing newsletter in a systematic way?
I have one set up on a Smart Plan
Okay.
that goes out.
Okay.
I'm assuming it's gonna go out.
You should be getting it.
You know what? I don't think I've set myself up on it.
Do you, oh, you should be set up.
I know,
on everything
I
that
know, I
goes
just thought
out.
about
Like you
that.
should be a buyer, a seller, all of that
I
is
just
your
thought about
tags and your
that.
business.
I've had, most of the ones that I've used, I've
Okay.
been set up on them, like
Okay.
I've seen them and how they look,
Okay.
but I'm not gonna set it up every time, talk about it. But I just realized, I'm like, that one, I didn't set myself up on it.
Are you just for those of you who are doing a newsletter, and I'm doing a newsletter, are there the people who respond to your newsletter, are you contacting those people?
I haven't started that, but it's something that I have my cyberbacker really getting ready to work on.
Yep.
So right now, we're just tightening up the records in
Mhm.
my database,
Mhm.
improving the health score, getting the text message sent out to everybody to introduce him, so they know it's not a spam if they hear from him or
Okay.
something. And then the next step is to initiate the newsletter. So I guess if we can dig a little bit deeper on what is included in newsletters, like what are just some things to, like what are some calls to action that you put in the newsletter?
All
That
right,
would be helpful.
let's drill that down. Because again, this goes back to systems, because
Right,
this is
right.
something that you can do every single month.
Yeah.
Okay, or quite honestly, should be doing it twice a month, doing something twice a month. My cyberbacker creates a newsletter for me, and it goes out every month on the 7th of the month. And then on the 21st of the month, all of my database who are homeowners, they get the neighborhood watch email.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I do have that.
So your people should all be set up on that. That is easy. Everybody, if you're on the call, your clients should be set up, even just people that you know, that you have in your database. If you got an address, which you should be getting, that's an opportunity for you to put them in your database so that you stay top of mind on a monthly basis. You're welcome to, you should be putting them on that plan. Okay. So what could you put in your newsletter?
So initially I'm thinking like lender highlights, like the interest rates increasing, but not only that, I wouldn't really focus on like the negative part of that part,
Okay.
but just like a lender, a minute market or a market minute, something like that.
Okay.
The lenders send me that on a weekly basis. Yeah, something like that. So I think that would be helpful to provide perspective. I would ask for referrals. I don't know what else.
Maybe, highlight one of your clients that just closed or a house or something.
So show that you're
Like
busy.
testimonials.
Testimonial is good. It can be, you can do a just listed,
And
just sold, or under contract.
okay.
So we do it all in my newsletter.
I'd be nervous stepping up on the contract.
Okay. You want them to, you be a secret agent. Why don't you want them to know you're in the country?
Oh, that's right. Don't be on the contract no more. They don't
They don't know.
That's true. Don't tell them the
That's right.
contract.
They don't know. Perception is everything. You just look busy. You want to look as busy. If people want to work with people who they think are busy,
Yeah.
right? We put in community events. And we do stuff around the city. Festivals, spring festival, now's a good time, and then we put the link in there so that they can go to the link, and then we do it out. We do ours through MailChimp. And I don't know if you can do that through Command or not, but we do it outside of Command, but we use MailChimp. And then you can track when, obviously when people open the newsletter, you can track which links they clicked on. You can see how many people clicked on a particular link. And you can have, with MailChimp, you get so many contacts for free after a certain number.
I think you can do it through Command.
Yeah, I think you can.
But it doesn't track all of the specific
It's a
clicks.
campaign.
It just tracks how many clicks it like opened.
Gotcha.
It doesn't track like
All of the
different-
detail. Yeah. So it helps you track your open rate and lets you know who's actually looking. You can see the people who are actually clicked on your account. And I would imagine that if you did it through Command, if you went directly to your MailChimp account, you should still be able to see that data.
Mhm.
I'd imagine you'd be able to see that data. I'm sorry.
What about a Cares for Kids something? I
Okay.
wanna like plug in, I don't know if it's like a fundraising update, right?
Okay.
We have our goal,
Okay.
maybe we can introduce the goal.
Right, so you introduce the goal in the first one.
Right, and then like every month they get an update on how close we
Okay.
are to reaching that goal.
And then on the bottom of there, have the text.
Exactly, to
Say,
donate.
hey, text to donate.
I like
Mhm.
that, yeah.
Okay.
All the events are coming up.
Mhm.
Yeah. Market stats, what's going on in the market. Or market stats, it can be market news.
for market news, is that, I mean, are we talking specific areas?
You can go to,
Or just like keep it current matters?
it can,
update,
yeah,
something like
yeah,
that? Okay.
something like that, something that will send them a link. So, we subscribe to, this service that I get being a part of the, luxury real estate marketing thing. And it is it has all kinds of different articles called Res Media or something like that. And it's similar to Keeping Current Matters, where Keeping Current Matters is a lot more business and a lot more. We use it more for ways that you can use your house. Like, I think the one we're doing this month is about gardening and or landscaping. Last month was about maintain your house for the spring. And then in February, Josiah found one about how for Valentine's Day, things that you can do in your home for Valentine's Day to not go out or whatever. So it's really cool. And so you can, and I say that to say, go find articles in different places. You can go to Realtor Magazine, you can go to Home Magazine, depending on what it is. If, you may want to talk about the housing trends, like the paint colors that's going to be popular for this year. There's so many different things that you can use in your newsletter.
What about lender highlight?
I got that.
Oh, vendor, I mean, that's what I'm gonna say, vendor.
Okay. Home trends. You can spotlight a small business. I get somebody's, and they spotlight a small business. And they do a different one every month. Ooh. I don't have my watch on, so I need y'all to check time. I want to be respectful of your time. One more time?
11:53.
Okay.
Are these like one-pager newsletters?
That's not one thing. And they obviously get it via email. If they're in my database, they get it.
I guess it don't have to be a whole lot of information.
It doesn't.
I'm just thinking
We
like. the list is long, but it's small.
We choose three things. For us, we do I do a realtor message, just something small with a picture. And then we do whatever the article is, home trend, whatever, which is what we tend to do. And then we do just solar under contract. And then we do the community events. That's it. So you can choose any variety of these,
Right.
but you want to limit it because think about the attention span of the
Right.
person
Right.
who's there. So I would pick 3 to 4 things, no more than 4, because after a while, I think you lose people.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, this is a lot.
It
And
is.
who's reading everything?
Right. So you want to choose a few of them.
All right, cool. Thank you.
And again, I think the follow-up, the calls, all kind of goes to how we can communicate with your database. And like I said, when Nikki does her class, she's going to really dive into that part about the database, because I think that's a class.
And I think that could be a reason to follow up. If you get the newsletter and somebody clicks it, you follow up with them. with the
Depending on
phone
what they
call.
clicked for, what they clicked on.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that can tie into each other. And you have everybody on the newsletter.
Agents don't get that newsletter. I have a separate newsletter that we do every other month for agents that we just started doing in February. So we'll want to go out this month.
Okay.
Anything in chat?
No. Just that they want the notes.
Okay.
Let's take a picture.
Take a picture and then forward before I erase it. What else? Okay, so we talked about all of that. We talked about to do as the workshop. we'll do the workshop as, we'll try to get that on the calendar. I'd like us to try to get that on the calendar next month.
Especially over in Cuba.
Especially-
Kicking off Q2.
Exactly, it's the busy season now, is definitely the time to do that. So we'll look at doing that. Self-motivation. Self-motivation, how do you keep your spirits up? What do you do?
Just a whole lot of drinking. No, I'm just kidding. For me, it really is just a matter of calling people. Just find whoever I know that can pour a little bit more into me.
Okay,
If I'm like emptied out, then I know just kind of like dig a little deeper. Obviously prayer, fast, supplication, right? Those are helpful. Listening to music generates positive emotion depending on what you listen to.
okay.
And sometimes I have to be gentle with myself because I can work so hard and so long and still not see results that I'm like, damn, what you doing, girl?
Right.
But it's like, okay, well, give yourself some grace.
You have to give yourself some grace. You have to give yourself some grace. Even if you are frustrated and aggravated, trust me, if you're in this business long enough, a day's gonna come where every deal you have is gonna have a problem or fallout.
Yeah.
It's going to happen, right? Sulk about it, get mad about it, go drink your bottle of wine about it.
Right.
The next day, get right back in it. Because that next day and that day after, you will make you forget about the day where everything happens. It happens to everybody, right? It happened to me 2 weeks ago. Okay, I left the office and when I got home, I told my husband, I just feel defeated today. Like, I just feel so defeated. I don't want to look at nothing real estate today. I don't want to answer my phone. And then the next day, I got back up. Something showed up on my timeline that was exactly what I needed to see. Hit the ground running, and it's been good ever since. So don't allow one day to define your business. Don't allow 2 days to define your business. You need that string of wins. I remember an agent told me that bad days and bad transactions are what make you a good agent. Not just what you do well,
Right.
it's the things that get tough. Having to save a deal, right? Having to let a client go because that client is killing your peace of mind,
Right.
right? We all have that.
Good night.
Just the numbers pressing.
We all have that, right? So you have to be doing something to replenish yourself. My last coach, the first thing he would say to me was, when we would meet after every other week, was, what days did you take off? What half day did you take off?
Yeah.
And you know what? And when you're a new agent, you're like, I don't have half a day. I don't have half a day to do that. What day are you taking off? You know, are you taking off Saturday or Sunday? I got to show houses, right? These houses don't sell themselves, right?
Get out here in these streets.
But you have to find some time to rest. You have to find some time to rest. Even if it's a half day, even if it's 2 half days, you have to find a way to rest. That is, when you rest, your mind, not just your benefits to your body get replenished, and you are more efficient at being a real estate practitioner. You are a lot more efficient. You're better for your clients and you're better for you. Okay. That's my self-motivation.
Hope and feel.
Don't be a secret agent. Like, that is my thing. Do not be a secret agent. If somebody comes into my inbox on social media and they say, what you do for a living, block.
Cause you know what I mean.
Cause if you don't know what I do,
Yeah.
if you don't know what I do,
Yeah.
you ain't got no business in my inbox. Okay? I am not a secret agent. I might be an agent who don't want to call people. I might be all of that, but I'm not a secret. I am not a secret. Don't be a secret agent. People need to know that you sell real estate. There are people out there that's in your circle that want to see you win. Don't be afraid to ask. Okay? Don't be afraid to ask. And I think even when you're at the half capper space, you know, our family and friends are not our biggest supporters. And I know people don't want to hear that, right?
God is so true. But
People don't necessarily want to hear that. And it's not that they don't want to support you. It's a lot of times they want to see that you're doing it before they put their reputation out there to give you, you know, to recommend you. So don't feel like that's a bad thing. Don't beat people up about that. I'm gonna say another hard thing. Don't beat people up because they chose somebody else. Some people just don't want other people to know their business. Okay? Don't take that personally. As hard as that may be, I've had a couple who have done that, and I'm like, seriously, is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
But be careful about that.
But sometimes I do like to ask a question though.
Yeah.
Well, what led you to want to work with somebody else?
Yeah,
You know, if I may ask, if you don't mind me asking, what caused you to want to work with them?
yeah.
Right, just to see if it was something I did or didn't do,
Could
like my
be
first fit.
It could
so
be
I had to
anything.
ask him like, hey, you know,
Could be anything.
why did you go with somebody else?
Could be anything.
Yeah.
When I was in the mortgage business, I did, in my little small town, there was a guy, he was a president, I think, or somebody big in, Southwest Georgia with Farm Credit. And he could have walked in any bank in my little small town and they would have done whatever he said to do,
Right.
right? But he didn't want people to know his business. He did not want people at the bank to know, you know, what his assets was. You know, they had limited knowledge of his business and he didn't want them to know it. And I learned that at that time that not to take those kinds of things personally because people don't want people to know their business. But don't be a secret. Walk in the gym with your clothes on. Somebody eventually will say something to you. Somebody has probably followed you and you don't realize it.
Right.
Right? Because they've seen you at the gym. And when they're ready, they'll come. When you're ready, they'll come. You know, be a walking advertisement or whatever it is that you want to be. For the longest time, I didn't go nowhere without you seeing that Daisy.
Yeah.
Okay. It became people recognize it. When you're not a secret agent, especially on social media, if you're doing something consistently, people look for it.
Yeah.
Right? If I post something and that Daisy is behind it, they know. You know what they know what that is now. You know, I can point out somebody in my comments by giving them the Daisy in my response to them. It's like, why did she get the Daisy? And then it's, oh, okay, maybe that's one of her clients or whatever, right? Without calling them out. Don't be a secret. Don't be a secret. There's enough business out here for all of us as hard as it is in this market right now. But you got to get your unfair share by being visible. Okay, your family and your friends need to know that you sell real estate. Whether it's everybody is not a social media person. Okay, and that's okay. That's okay, but you have to find your way to get your name out. Networking is your thing. Go out and network to your heart's content, but people need to know that you sell real estate. Anything in the comments?
No.
Okay. Anybody in the comments have any questions?
Somebody just said, lack of knowledge that we're not in their business. Lack of knowledge that we're not in their business. We're not in their business. Should we just comment on it? They're not being with people not wanting it.
True. Everybody has an opinion for sure, about real estate. Anything else we need to cover? Was this helpful?
Oh, yeah.
Was this helpful?
Especially this newsletter thing and the prelisting package. Those are like two things that my biggest takeaways.
And I'll be looking for the listing workshop, that's for sure.
Okay. Good deal. I think this will be put out on the page where people can go out and listen to our conversation about it. And we want to do this continuously because we want there to be everybody participating in the 118 Club.
Right.
And y'all, if you don't know what the 118 Club is, we need at least 118 people producing every month for us to be continuously profitable. Okay.
Number one.
Okay, yes, that'd be great if we could beat all of the other market centers. So our goal is to have 118 people in production. I don't care if you did 10 deals for the month,
Right.
you count as one. Okay, so whatever we can do to help you build and grow your business, it also helps the market center grow as well in production. And that's going to allow, there to be other things, other benefits for the market center. So we definitely want to do this every month, every other month, at least, just so we keep a pulse and we keep in contact. So for those of you that are on the Zoom call, and obviously you two ladies, make sure you kind of pass the word around for those. And a mastermind is always about what you want to talk about. Okay, and then this is what comes out of what you want to talk about. Everybody is not going to do everything that's on this board, okay? But pick the things that you can benefit from, okay? The way that you operate in your business, the way your personality is, okay? If you don't want to make cold calls, Tanisha's comfortable making cold calls. I'm not. I do not want to do that. I did say that on camera. I don't. But there are just so many other ways for me to be able to communicate with people in a way that's effective.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right over by you email your contact information and the notes.
Okay.
Let me email you notes so everybody comes on.
Right. Yes. So we definitely want to have these conversations with one another. Make sure that you are reaching out to somebody in the office, the ALC members. This is a helpful office. Ask for that help. Ask for that help. I would not be where I am without the help of a lot of people in this office. Okay.
I'm so willing.